The truth.
Hello again, we're back with me, Audie, with Vaniller's Mentors. Of course, I'm sure you know that by now. And today we're doing Intro to Champion class video. Same disclaimers as every other video. This is not a class guide. You will not learn how to play the champion in this video. It's just a brief intro for people who want to see what they look like, sort of. So yeah, don't expect any major play info in this video. As well, the info in this video is accurate as of end of August 2020. Classwork is constantly ongoing in this game, and so everything here is subject to change. Hopefully it won't, but you never know. And I'm gonna say this in every video. When picking a class as a new player, the most important thing is to know your role. Know this, because in a group, if you decide to group, you will be expected to play this role, no exceptions. Alright, so today, like I said, champion. The only races that cannot play champion are hobbits and Bjornings, of course, because they can only do Bjornings. Everyone else, you can play champ, male, female, there's no locks for that, or any of the other ones for that matter. They are a melee DPS. They are very good for new players as they're a pretty basic class and their role is not a difficult one. They are in a really good place right now and they do always have a spot in a raid, so you don't have to worry about that. They are heavy armor, as you can see by what she's wearing here. They do dual wield, as you can see she's got a weapon in each hand. They also have access to a pretty wide variety of weapons. So they use daggers, one-handed axes, clubs, hammers, maces, swords, and a spear. Or if you want to use two-handers, so that's one bigger weapon, they can also use two-handed axes, hammers, swords for two-handed. And they do use a bow and a crossbow, but it's not a damage skill necessarily. You use a bow, just, you've got one attack basically that hits for like, I don't know, 100. And it's just a ranged pull. It's just to pull a mob to you instead of running all the way over there because you are melee, so close range. And champs do not use shields. We used to. We do not anymore. So I'm going to log into mine just to show you what the animations look like, what their skills look like. And I can go over just a few general points. Like I said, they are heavy armor. However, they are probably the squishiest of the heavy armors because you are a melee class and you're a DPS class, so you can't obviously be super survivable and super damage. There's a trade-off there. So some of the raids in this game are really melee DPS unfriendly. So they do tend to die a little more than your ranged DPS, but nobody's surprised by that, so it's not a big deal. But like I said, they are in a really good spot for a raid right now. They do have a sort of off-tanking tree. Do not be surprised if nobody asks you to use it. It's a very not great off-tanking tree. You can maybe use it sometimes in a group, but it's not a role that people often use a champ for. If you're being asked to bring your champion in a raid, it's for a DPS role. That is your job. So, your main role, damage. That is it. Like I said, pretty basic, and it's great for starters, for starter players, starter tunes, whatever. You do have a kind of cool, I don't want to say role, a cool thing that you can do, unique sort of to the champ, in the way that you can work with the tank to help the mobs be glued to the tank for the entire fight. So if you and the tank work it out over voice chat, you're in a raid, you go in together, the tank pulls all the mobs, and then the champ does some skills and really gets that damage output, and then the tank force taunts the mobs. Those enemies will stick to that tank majorly for the rest of the fight because it's just an aggro copy which is based on your damage. So that's a really cool little thing you can do to help. But otherwise, your role is super easy. You go in there, you do all the shings, and everything dies. Your red tree is single target damage mostly, and your yellow tree is your major AoE damage tree. Generally in a raid you're expected to go yellow, however, often people will want you to switch to red and yellow during the raid. So if you're at a boss and there's, the last boss fight and there's just one enemy, go red because it's single target damage. It's going to be higher because you use a two-handed weapon for it. So know both of those trees. They're both super fun. I will demonstrate here what the skills sort of look like, just so that you can see the animations. They're really cool. I really like the champ's animations. I guess you could say they're mostly comparable to what other games would call a berserker. They work off of fervor, which you gain as you attack, and the fervor makes subsequent attacks more powerful. Pretty straightforward. So yeah, I'm in yellow tree right now, which is AoE. I will shut up and DPS some things and let you guys see the animations, and then I'll switch to red and do the same thing so you guys can see just sort of what they look like, and that'll be it. Alright, here we go. Okay, so that's about it there. That was yellow tree. And as you can see, I'm dual wielding, so I have an axe in each hand. Generally, AoE is dual wield. Single target would be your big two-hander. So once I get out of combat here, there we go. Now you can see he pulled out his little bow at the end, his crossbow, and just pew-pewed a little bit. That's what I was talking about earlier. This is your only skill, and it does very little damage, see? And you just pull with it. That's it. You don't actually use this during a fight, really. Okay, you can stop now. Alright. So we will switch once he's out of combat here. There we go. So we'll switch to red tree, which again is the single target. And I will switch to my big two-handed weapon, because this is generally what you'd use in red for some skills. And I'll do the same. Enjoy! Okay, and that's about the same. That's about it for the red. Now, that big devastating strike that you hear thunder, that one's really cool because if you're with a champ, or even if there's a champ playing somewhere near you that you can't see, that devastating strike will echo across the landscape and you'll hear it in the distance, a big champ smashing the ground. So that's kind of cool. It just reminds me of sort of like a Hulk rage skill. But anyways, that's the champ. They have some of the coolest animations in the game for melee, in my opinion. I think they're really fun. They are super enjoyable and very good for new people as a starter class. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video, and enjoy Hulk smashing all the things.